I am 90 years old. I have lived through wars, through poverty, through times when we had so little that a single tomato plant meant the difference between eating and going hungry. Thoughtful, and I have learned something that took me 60 years to understand, something that changed everything about how I live. Today I want to share with you the greatest secret I have discovered about growing food. It is not about working harder, it is about finally, after all these years, learning to work less. When I was a young man, I believed that everything worth having required suffering. I would wake before dawn, carry water from the well to my garden, and spend hours bending my back in the scorching heat. My hands would bleed from the rope. My shoulders would ache until I could barely sleep. I thought this was the price of being alive, the price of having food on my table. And yes, I had a beautiful garden, but I was tired. I was always tired. It was my mother, God rest her soul, who first told me something I did not understand. She said, "My boy, nature does not need your permission to grow. The earth is far wiser than you are. Stop fighting it. Start listening to it." I was too proud to listen then. I was young and I thought wisdom meant hard work. I was wrong. Now at this age, with hands that shake and a back that protests every movement, I have created something I never thought possible. I have a garden that feeds me, my family, and now my grandchildren. And I do almost nothing. I wake up, I drink my coffee, I walk outside, and I simply gather what has already grown. Some days I barely touch the soil at all. People ask me all the time, "How do you do it? How do you have such an abundance?" And I always smile because the answer is almost too simple for them to believe. The answer is this: I stopped trying to control nature. I started choosing plants that were already designed to survive without me. Let me tell you about the 8 foods that have saved my life and transformed my understanding of what it means to grow old. These are not exotic plants. These are not expensive seeds from faraway places. These are the same foods my grandparents grew. These are the plants that have been fed by rain and sun for thousands of years, long before any of us were born, and they will keep growing long after we are gone. The first food is the moringa tree. When I first heard about moringa, I thought someone was playing a joke on me. A tree that needs almost no water, that produces leaves you can eat, that can survive in the harshest conditions. I was 75 years old and I had never heard of it, even though I had spent my entire life gardening. That is how hidden this knowledge is. Moringa grows in places where nothing else will grow. It drinks the rain when the rain comes, and it stores what it needs deep in its roots. During the dry season, when my tomatoes would wilt and cry out for water, my moringa stands tall and proud. The leaves are full of vitamins, full of life. I dry them and put them in tea. I cook them like spinach. They taste a little like bitter greens, and they are stronger than any medicine I have ever taken. The most beautiful part, after I planted it 8 years ago, I have never watered it once. Not a single time. It grows because it wants to grow. Nature designed it to survive, and I simply got out of its way. The second is the artichoke. Now artichokes seem fancy, seem like something only rich people could grow. But I learned something that changed my life. Artichokes have the deepest roots of almost any vegetable. They go down into the earth and find water that other plants cannot reach. When I was younger, I killed artichokes by watering them too much. I drowned them with my kindness. Now I understand. These plants need time, real time, to establish their roots. So when you plant them, yes, you water them for the first few weeks. But then you step back. You let them struggle a little. You let them learn to find water on their own. Once they understand that you will not rescue them with a hose, They develop strength that nothing can break. I have artichokes now that have been in my garden for 12 years. In summer they produce beautiful flowers. In winter they sleep, and they ask nothing from me. They teach you patience. They teach you that real strength is not developed in comfort. The third is the olive tree. I remember the first olive tree I planted. I was 82 years old. My daughter said, "Papa, why plant a tree now? You will not live to see it produce." And I told her, that is exactly why I am planting it. I am planting it for you. I am planting it for your children. I am planting it for people I will never meet. Olive trees live for hundreds of years. Some of the trees that still produce olives in my region were planted by people who died before my grandfather was even born. Olive trees are incredibly patient. They need almost no water. They actually prefer poor soil because it makes them work harder, makes them stronger. When the heat comes, when the sun beats down and kills other plants, the olive tree stands there with its silvery leaves, perfectly calm, waiting. And after waiting, it gives you olives. It gives you oil. It gives you oil. It gives you everything. Planting an olive tree is an act of faith. It is saying to the future, I believe you will be beautiful. The fourth is the fig tree. My grandmother had a fig tree that is still alive today. I have seen it with my own eyes, standing in the same spot for over 80 years. Fig trees are almost impossible to kill. You can neglect them, abandon them, forget about them completely, and they will still come back. They still produce fruit. It is like they have this inner determination that nothing can shake. I have figs growing in soil so poor that I would not plant anything else there. I have figs that receive water only from the rain, and every summer I have more figs than I can possibly eat. I dry them. I give them away. My great-grandchildren eat them. This year, a neighbor asked me for cuttings because she wanted fig trees too. I gave her 3. I did not even count them. There were so many that 3 meant nothing to me. The fifth is the prickly pear cactus, what some people call the Barbary fig. Now, this is a plant that understands survival better than almost anything else. It comes from a place so dry that most plants would never even attempt to live there. The prickly pear does not just survive, it thrives. You can go weeks without seeing this plant and it will be perfectly fine. The fruit is incredible. It is sweet. It has so many seeds, but the flesh is beautiful. And the pads themselves, they are food too. You can cook them. You can eat them raw. I remember a time many years ago when I was very sick and could eat almost nothing. The only thing that did not make me feel worse was prickly pear. For 3 weeks, that is what I ate. It saved me. And now when I look at my prickly pear plant, I think of that time. I think of how a plant that asked for nothing gave me everything I needed. The 6th is the pomegranate tree. A pomegranate tree will live for 50, 60, sometimes 100 years or more. It is like having a promise from the earth that keeps being fulfilled year after year. When I was a young man, my father gave me a pomegranate tree seed. He said, "This tree will outlive us both. Treat it with respect." For many years I did water it. I did care for it carefully. But as I got older, I realized something. The pomegranate tree was stronger than all of my worrying. It wanted to live. It was designed to live. So I let go. I stopped hovering over it. And that is when it really started to produce. The fruit is one of the greatest gifts nature gives us. Inside every pomegranate there are hundreds of seeds, each one wrapped in this juice that tastes like summer and like life itself. And you only get this fruit because the tree decided to keep living without your help. The seventh is the almond tree. Almonds have been feeding people for thousands and thousands of years. In fact, some of the oldest evidence we have of agriculture shows that people have been growing almonds since before we even had written language. The almond tree understands drought. Its roots go so deep that it finds water that you cannot even imagine. And the nuts themselves, they are full of everything your body needs. Protein, good fat, minerals. When I was 60, a doctor told me I needed to eat more almonds. I planted 3 almond trees. 15 years later, I have more almonds than I can use. I roast them. I give them to my grandchildren. I soak them and eat them raw. The tree asks for almost nothing and gives and gives and gives. The 8th, and perhaps my favorite, is the carob tree. The carob tree is something special. It is so tough, so resilient, that it was used by ancient peoples as food during times of famine. It has been called the locust tree because the seeds are so full of nutrition that they sustained entire armies. The pod is naturally sweet. You can dry it and grind it and use it almost like chocolate. But more than that, the carob tree teaches you something deep about what survival really means. It grows in places where nothing else will grow. It waits through drought without complaining, and then it produces fruit that is somehow sweet and nurturing. That is what I want to be at 90 years old. I want to be like the carob tree. I want to keep producing something good for the people around me, even if the conditions are not perfect, even if I am old and tired. Now, let me tell you something very important. When you plant these 8 foods, you are not just feeding your body. You are doing something sacred. You are connecting yourself to thousands of years of human history. You are saying to your children and grandchildren, I was here. I grew something. I created something that will still be here after I am gone. Every time they eat from your garden, they are eating proof that you love them. I have learned in my 90 years that the best gardening is not about control. It is about surrender. It is about understanding that you are part of something much larger and much wiser than yourself. The earth does not need your water. The earth has been watering itself for billions of years. What the earth needs from you is respect. It needs you to choose the right plants, to give them a good home, and then to have the courage to step back and let them be. When I walk through my garden now, I am not walking through something I created. I am walking through something I helped to create. The difference is everything. I am lighter. I am more at peace. My hands hurt less because I am doing less. And somehow I have more. I have more food. I have more time. I have more life left to actually live, instead of spending it working in the garden. This is the secret I want to give to you, the thing I have learned after 90 years on this earth. Life gets easier when you stop fighting it. Health comes when you work with your body instead of against it. Food grows when you choose plants that want to grow. And love is deepened when you do something for the future, when you plant something knowing that you might not live to see it fully mature, but trusting that it will be there for people you love. I think about my grandmother sometimes, the one whose fig tree is still alive. She never knew that her great-great-grandchildren would eat fruit from that tree, but she planted it anyway. She had faith, and that faith was rewarded thousands of times over in ways she could never have imagined. This is what I want to leave with you, this feeling, this knowing. You do not have to work so hard. You do not have to fight so much. If you choose the right things, if you plant the right seeds, if you step back and trust nature, then life will take care of you. Your garden will feed you. Your plants will teach you. And long after you are gone, people will still benefit from the seeds you planted. Plant something today. Do not wait until you are old like me. Do not wait until your hands shake and your back hurts. Do not wait until you have wasted a lifetime doing things the hard way. Plant one of these 8 foods. And then tomorrow do what I do. Wake up, drink your coffee, walk outside, and let the earth show you what is possible when you finally truly let go. This is the lazy old man's secret. This is the wisdom that took me 60 years to learn and 10 more years to perfect. I am sharing it with you not because I want credit for it. I am sharing it because I am running out of time, and I want this knowledge to outlive me. I want it to grow and spread like a seed that takes root in good soil. I want you to teach this to your children. I want them to teach it to theirs. Life is short, even at 90 years old. It seems long when you are young, but I promise you, it passes like a breath. Do not spend it all fighting. Do not spend it all working without joy. Find the things that work with you instead of against you. Grow the foods that want to grow. Love the people who are right in front of you. And plant something for the future. Something you might not live to see. Something that says to everyone who comes after you, I was here, I loved, I gave. This is the message I leave with you today. This is what my 90 years have taught me. And if you want to learn more about these 8 foods, if you want to understand how to grow them and care for them, and if you want to stay connected to this old wisdom, please, I am asking you, subscribe to this channel. Help me share this message. Help me keep these seeds of knowledge alive. Because when you subscribe, you are saying that this matters to you. You are saying that you believe in the power of simple things. You are saying that you will keep growing, keep learning, keep teaching others. My time is limited now, but through you, through your hands, through your gardens, through your children and grandchildren, this knowledge will keep growing. It will keep producing fruit. It will keep nourishing people. Long after I have become dust and returned to the earth, I have spent my life tending. Thank you for listening to an old man's story. Thank you for caring enough to hear it. And thank you in advance for keeping this wisdom alive.